friends, Chelsea here of Lunar Rasa. Welcome to this week's episode of the Lunar Yoga Lunchbreak. If you enjoy this practice, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'm offering these weekly Lunar Yoga mini classes, just like this one, every week, usually on Thursdays, 1 p.m. Pacific time. And the intention behind this offering is to give you an opportunity to experience a taste of what Lunar Yoga is all about. The full practice of Lunar Yoga is offered through my monthly membership. If that's something you'd like to learn more about, please feel free to shoot me a message or leave a comment, and I'd be happy to send you a little bit more information. Otherwise, feel free to tune in every week. The recordings are posted after as well, so you can practice anytime that works for you. And these practices are here for you to drop into yourself, into your body. I created Lunar Yoga as a practice to help us sink into the natural rhythms of the world around us through the lunar cycle, as well as the natural rhythms within us. And so we'll go ahead and get started. If you have a couple of blankets, a couple of cushions or pillows, really whatever you have just at home on your bed, on your couch is perfect. We'll use some props today to help support this practice. Because we're following the cycle of the moon, the physical practice or asana of Lunar Yoga looks different each week. This practice is intended to be an embodiment of the energy or the taste, the rasa of the moon at each phase. This week, the moon is waning, and today we're in the last quarter phase of the moon. The last quarter phase is all about letting go. And so our physical practice is Lunar Yin. Yin is a practice that is seated and held for a few minutes in each posture. And so that's where our props come in to help support the pose so that your muscles can relax. We'll start in a comfortable seat. If you have a low cushion or a blanket that you can roll up to sit right underneath your hips, find a seat that allows your spine to sit up nice and tall. You're awake yet relaxed. And shoulders can soften down your back, hands resting wherever feels easeful. And lengthen through the back of your neck, all the way up through the top of your head. As you exhale, let your breath pool into your low belly, inviting a sense of arriving in your mind, your thoughts, your awareness, all catch up here to the same place and time as your physical body. Let your eyes soften or close down if that feels comfortable for you in your space. With eyes closed, perhaps you naturally find yourself turning more inward. The moon rules our inner landscape of emotions and sensations in the realm of feeling. The waning moon phase is particularly this time when we slow down and start to turn back inward. Soften your temples and cheeks. And separate your back teeth to relax your jaw. Let your tongue fall down and back, away from the roof of your mouth. With your inward-facing gaze, you might continue scanning down through your body, noticing any places of tension or effort. And taking a moment just to let your awareness hover there, with no judgment or expectation, nothing you need to fix or make happen. extend an awareness of compassion, of loving kindness to those places within you that feel tight or restricted. Imagine sending your breath to those places with an invitation to let go. Or if letting go seems really far away, really challenging or a lot to ask of your body right now, you could try on just softening, let loose. And begin to notice the qualities of your breath. If it's long, just know that it's long. If your breath is short, just know that it's short. As you come into your breath, start to notice what you notice. Perhaps your breath is really subtle today, maybe hard to detect or hard to follow. And that's no problem. Just know today my breath feels hard to follow. But you are breathing. So you can just know, I am breathing in. I am breathing out. And let the wisdom of your body take care of the rest. And taking these first few moments, mirroring the energy of this phase of the moon, and just slowing down. And taking a moment to unwind from whatever the first part of your day held. Whether it was bustling and busy, or maybe slow and calm. And take this time to let your attention trickle down from the movement and busyness of the thinking mind. And dropping down into the intuitive feeling and sensing realm of the body. And find one intentional breath here all together. Inhale through your nose and draw your breath way down toward your low belly. And fill up into the sides of your rib cage, into both the front and back line of your body. And when you feel full at the top, pause. See if you can sip in one more little bit of air without bringing too much strain or effort to your muscles. And open mouth, audible exhale, let out a sigh as you empty that whole breath out. At the very bottom of your exhale, bring a little compression into your low belly, gently drawing your navel toward your spine to help empty out any stagnation from the bottom of your lungs. Allow your breath to restart on its own natural rhythm. And the breath is our companion throughout this practice. There's no prescribed breath. I'll simply invite you to use your breath to help you settle into each posture and to keep you company, and keep you present as you hold over time in each pose. And then again at the end is a signal to your body that we're about to move again. And remain here for as long as you need to fully arrive into the energy and the mindset of your practice. And perhaps you have a particular intention as you come to your mat today, or a dedication, an inspiration. If so, let that go ahead and come into your mind. And if you've been following along this lunar yoga practice all month, you might have set an intention at the new moon earlier this month. And so you could take a moment to recall that intention, let it come into your mind, let it come into your body. And I'll offer a collective intention in syncing in with the rasa of this phase of the moon, and to forgive who and what needs to be forgiven in order for you to let go or let loose of any habits, patterns, behaviors that are holding you back or that are keeping you stuck in shadow. And find a breath here. As you're ready, gently blink your eyes open, letting in little bits of light. Shift forward over the top of your knees, removing any props just off to the side. We've been sitting with ankles crossed for a while. You might find that your body is asking for some natural movement, maybe tapping out the tops of your feet or stretching your legs long behind you one at a time. Maybe some cat and cow movements or something more organic. Maybe circling through wrists, hips, shoulders, swaying side to side. You might even close your eyes here so that you can really turn inward and let your body guide you. Just feeling your way through movement. I'm not worried about how it looks, but instead, based on how it feels. How does your body want to move in this moment? As we get ready to set up into our first yin posture for today, if you have something either like a yoga block or a blanket that you can fold up small, that would be a nice solid seat. You can bring that toward the back of your yoga space. And coming back into hands and knees, we'll set up for shoelace pose by first reaching your right foot up toward the ceiling. And then crossing your right knee behind your left. You can scoot your feet wide. That's where your seat is going to go. Slowly walk your hands back and bring your prop right underneath your seat. And you can stack it up to be as high or as low as you'd like. And feel free to rearrange if you want to scoot back toward the middle of your mat. You can use your hands to help rearrange your legs. If there's a lot of space between your knees, you might slide in an additional prop so there's nothing just hanging out in space. If there's no way of arranging your props to make this pose accessible in your body today, then I'll show you a reclined version in just a moment. And you would come out of this just like we went in, very slowly walking forward to hands and knees so that you can uncross. And if you're taking the reclined version, come all the way down to your back. And cross your left leg over top of your right leg. And draw your knees toward your chest. Hands could rest on the top of your shins, your ankles, maybe all the way to your feet, either on the inside or the pinky toe side of your feet. And if you're on your back, you can explore how it feels to either scoot your feet out wider from your hips. For most of us, that's going to create more sensation. Or to bring your heels closer toward each thigh, you might find a little bit less sensation. In Yin Yoga, it's okay to feel a lot of sensation. Strong sensations are welcome, but we never want to stay with pain. Anything sharp, anything hot, anything twingy. Those are all messages from your body that you would either readjust or maybe even come out of the pose or take a different option. Once you've found your just right shape, somewhere that feels sensational, you can feel it, but it's not so much sensation that your muscles are tightening up in their response to protect the body. So we're finding that Goldilocks spot, just enough sensation, but not too much, nothing painful. And that's generally the most effort of this practice, is just in setting up the posture. And then the practice becomes more internal. We rest over time in stillness. The hands can rest wherever feels comfortable. You might bring one hand over heart center, one hand over your low belly. Helping to bring in a more tactile experience of your breath as you breathe into your palms. You might employ the trick of softening all of the muscles in your face once again. Often we store sneaky tension between the brows or in the eyes, tightening the jaw or clenching teeth. And as we intentionally relax the forehead, the eyebrows, and your eyes rest heavy in their sockets. You might even imagine you can relax your ears, the sides of your face, your jaw. It initiates this kind of automatic wave of relaxation all throughout the rest of the body. And this lunar month began with the new moon in Scorpio. We've been exploring the themes of Scorpio throughout this month. Scorpio is the sign of transformation. It's a fixed sign, meaning this transformation is really deep, long-lasting transformation. And Scorpio is a water sign dealing with our deepest emotions, often those that are some of the longest held. We're working with the shadows, aspects of ourselves that we may often avoid or choose not to look at, the things that we may feel uncomfortable seeing or knowing about ourselves. Scorpio Also deals with our personal power, knowing that it is from our shadows, alchemizing into our greatest power. That is our journey of transformation. And Scorpio deals with the mysterious, the dark, taboo, and occult. Rules our sexuality and reproductive and sexual organs in the body. And another key theme in Scorpio is forgiveness. And that is the particular aspect that we will be working with in today's practice. And the waning phase of the moon is the letting go phase. And this month in particular, we are invited to explore the relationship between forgiveness and letting go, or even just letting loose, softening our grip on the habits or beliefs or patterns about ourselves, our relationships, or about others or the world. Sometimes those beliefs are really deep rooted, and especially if they've been existing in the shadow, it may not be real easy to just let go. And so we acknowledge that it's nothing to make wrong. I think, can we just loosen the grip? Allowing for the possibility that letting go may sometime become an option. In a second, you'll hear the sound of a chime. That's our signal for transition. You'll find an intentional breath, letting your body know to prepare for movement. And then we'll come out nice and slow. Open mouth, exhale. So nice. Bring your hands all the way up toward the ceiling as you inhale. Exhale, cross your right hand underneath your left, bringing hands to opposite shoulders. If that feels accessible, you might try back of your forearms together, or maybe even intertwining your palms to touch. We'll move together with breath, just a couple of rounds, mindful, slow movement, really tuning in to the felt sensations of each little shift, each articulation. As you inhale, reach your fingers up toward the ceiling. Let that help to scoop your shoulder blades underneath the back of heart center. Gaze high. Exhale, slowly round inward, bringing your forearms toward your thighs. Gaze down. 2 more like that. Inhale, breath to lift. Exhale, breath to lower. And just following the natural rhythm of your breath, however long your inhale is, let it be exactly that long. Move along with your inhale. And again, your entire exhale, however long that is, to round forward. Next inhale, breath, reach your arms up. Inhale, your fingertips open. Exhale, reach your fingertips wide and back behind you. And all the way forward. Come back into your tabletop again, nice and slow. You might feel a little bit of that kind of Tin Man creak as you unwind. Scoot your hips off to either side. And come all the way down to your back. We'll be here in a mini Shavasana just for about 3 rounds of breath. And this time in stillness between each pose. to give your body time to fully integrate all of the sensory input of the last posture. Also an opportunity for the advanced practice of inner tracking for movement or shifts in sensation. You might notice how the right side maybe feels a little different from the left side. And again, you might not feel a lot. That's okay too. Just creating space for you to notice what you notice. One more full breath here. Like you're moving through thick molasses. Slowly make your way back to tabletop, however makes the most sense for you. You might roll through a supported fetal posture. You might rock and roll along the length of your spine if you're feeling a little too yin. Thoughts really dreamy, really hard to stay present. And from your tabletop, we'll take the second side. If you took the first round on your back, the supine version, go ahead and stay on your back and cross opposite leg on top. If you're coming into the seated version of shoelace, pick up your left foot. And your left knee can stay bent, just lifting your left foot up toward the ceiling. And cross your left knee behind your right. And again, you might shimmy over toward the middle of your mat again if you want to be centered. And let your feet come wide enough so that as you walk your hands back, you've created a little pocket for your seat. If, like me, bringing your sitting bones all the way to the floor is too much for your body today, you can bring the ground closer to you by sitting up on a block or a blanket or any other firm item that you have handy to bring the ground closer to you. You want to sit up nice and tall, evenly on both sitting bones, right on the top of your hips. Your shoulders relax down your back. Again, hands can rest wherever feels easeful, perhaps one over heart center, one over your low belly. You can soften your gaze or close your eyes. Inviting your attention to places of sensation. You might notice the qualities of the sensations. Maybe feeling the firmness of the ground below you. Maybe noticing the places of compression between your legs. Maybe noticing the places that feel really open and spacious. Maybe the center of your chest. Your long, tall spine. And bring your awareness to hover wherever you feel the most effort, wherever you notice your body is kind of working the hardest. Maybe it feels like engagement in your muscles or a tightness. Maybe it feels like a resistance. And again, with no judgment or expectation, just let your awareness hover there. Imagine sending the exhale phase of your breath into those places of resistance or effort. Letting the exhales be like a soothing balm. An invitation for your muscles to relax. When speaking of the themes of the lunar cycle, we often kind of group this whole waning phase into letting go, as though it's binary, black and white. It can feel sort of all or nothing. And especially when we're working with really deep emotions or really deep shadows, things that can be really stubborn, maybe been there for a long time without really being looked at. And that idea of just let go can be almost insultingly oversimplified. And Scorpio reminds us of the very important and requisite step of forgiveness to initiate a possibility for letting go. And perhaps it's a past version of yourself that you need to forgive. Your shadows are shadows for a reason. They're things that we choose not to look at because they bring up uncomfortable emotions. They might bring up grief or shame or embarrassment, anger or hurt. We're asking ourselves to be really courageous and to look into our shadows, to feel into those deep, uncomfortable emotions. And it takes a lot of courage to even be willing to explore or entertain the idea of forgiveness and transformation. To transform is to go through an ending of how you have known things to be or how you have known yourself to be. It's like experiencing what my teacher calls an everyday death. An ending that also clears space for the potential of new beginning. We cannot become the next version of ourselves without allowing the last version to let go. Even if what we're calling in is exciting, is big, feels positive, feels empowering, it's important to also acknowledge what can feel like a loss or what can feel really scary, to stand on the precipice of the unknown. And this is how we ensure that we're not spiritually bypassing, just trying to skip straight into the other side of the growth. Because even if you know that what lies on the other side of this transformation is what you want, is positive, is in alignment, we can't skip the very often messy, challenging process of unbecoming, of being the caterpillar that goes into the cocoon to turn into goo and imaginal cells, cosmic goop. And trusting the process to be remade into the you that comes next. Let yourself breathe that in. Open mouth, easy breath out. arms high. Exhale, this time cross your left arm underneath your right. Hands to opposite shoulders. Moving one layer at a time. If you'd like a little bit more sensation, back of your forearms to touch. If you'd like a little bit more, you can intertwine your arms like vines, bringing your hands together. We've got 3 waves of breath and movement linked together. Inhale, lift your elbows away from your chest, fingertips up and back. Exhale, slowly round in, scooping your belly button toward your spine. Let your forearms touch down to the top of your legs. And again, inhale, reach your arms high. And as you reach up and gaze up, scoop your shoulder blades underneath the back of heart center, almost like a hand there lifting you up. And exhale to round. One more full round just like that. This time, inhale, arms high. Unwind, stretch up and out as you exhale. Let your fingertips fall out wide and get heavy. And touching down behind your hips. And slowly forward, all over the tops of your knees, or uncross your legs if you're reclined on your back. An option this time to come again onto your back or shift forward onto your belly. Mini Shavasana. Don't think too much about it. Trust your body to go where it needs to go. If stillness feels good, you would remain still. If you find that your body is asking for movement, move mindfully and slower than you normally would, and then even slower than that. If you're on your belly, you might just give your hips a little shake side to side, or bend your knees and windshield wiper your heels left and right. You might rock your head side to side to release your neck. Once you're ready, gently bring your hands underneath your shoulders, or however makes the most sense for you, come to a seat. The Dragonfly Pose is our next posture. You can sit your hips again up onto the edge of a blanket or a prop. Anytime we're in our seated forward folds and we're going to hold for time, that little bit of extra support underneath the edge of your hips can be really nice to just help your pelvic bowl to roll forward, and also help to alleviate any potential sciatica, if that's something that you experience. And bring your legs into a V shape, not as wide as they possibly can go. When we get into those deepest possible ranges of motion, that's usually when the muscles engage and start to do their job of holding on and holding you together. And so we step in just slightly to a place where your muscles are able to relax. If your knees want to bend, let that happen. And slide a blanket underneath. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. As you exhale, slowly walk your hands forward until you feel the first layer of resistance, where that first exhale stops. You can pause here. This might be exactly where you stay. You might follow another round of breath. And inhale to feel the spaciousness. And an exhale to soften in a little deeper. And again, you want to find a place that feels sustainable, where you can hold in stillness over time. It's okay to feel a lot of sensation, even discomfort. Part of this practice is learning how to discern between what is uncomfortable and where we start to get into the neighborhood of risky pain. We never want to stay with pain, anything sharp, anything hot, pinching, electrical. Those are all messages from your body that you would come out of the pose. Well, maybe it just takes coming out from your forearms back up onto your palms, or walking your palms back a little bit closer toward your hips. Maybe that looks like scooting your legs in closer toward one another. And feel free to get creative with the way you use your props as well. If you have a thicker pillow or cushion, something like a yoga bolster, you might bring that right into the creases of your hips. And you can use that to support your weight as you fold forward. You might use a thicker cushion. If it'll stand upright, you can rest the other end onto your forehead, the third eye telescope. You could combine a couple of props together to make yourself a ramp. One of my personal favorites. The ramp gives you a little space that you can thread your arms underneath. If you're taking that option, I'll let you know when we're halfway through so that you can turn your gaze in the opposite direction. And just like the transformations of Scorpio season tend to be those longer lasting transformations. May not be something that you see overnight. The work of the waning moon phase, forgiveness, it's also something that can take time. Willingness, even just to approach forgiving yourself or someone else, can seem like a daunting task in and of itself. Know that it's okay to move slowly. And the moon teaches us about the beauty of being in each phase. She doesn't go from full illumination to half illumination overnight. Instead, very gradually, just a couple of degrees at a time, we move from the full moon, sliver by sliver, toward the waning gibbous moon, sliver by sliver to the last quarter moon, and so on and so on. Allow yourself to move through those shades of forgiveness. It might start up in your mind as an intention, something you think or something you speak. It can take much longer for it to filter down into the felt experience, the felt shift in your heart, in your body. And it might come in waves. It might feel like one step forward, 3 steps back. That's okay too. And the moon offers us the beauty of an organic structure. And she knows that it is not linear. And giving yourself that same grace, that same freedom allows for a much more easeful evolution. And turn your gaze in the opposite direction if you haven't already. And that's just if you were resting one cheek down either onto a prop or maybe onto the floor. As you begin to think about or visualize or imagine someone or some version of yourself that may need forgiveness in order for you to move through this phase of transformation, notice what sensations come up in your body. Is there a tightness in your throat or in your chest? Maybe your stomach feels gurgly or twisted in knots. Maybe there's a twinge or a prick between your shoulders. Maybe you notice your teeth clench, your eyebrows furrow. Notice without making that wrong. Instead, yourself get really familiar with those felt sensations. Really noticing where the resistance might be in your body. And let your awareness hover in those places. Maybe even bring a hand to those places of tension or resistance. And just breathe some loving compassion, some validation into those parts of your body. And reassure yourself, hey, it makes a lot of sense why you might be reluctant to forgive. And let yourself just be with that sensation. There's no rush, nothing to force, nothing to make happen. Give yourself permission to feel all of what comes up. One more breath here. And bring your hands back to the ground. Let your spine uncurl like a rag doll from bottom to top. Shoulders, neck, and head rise last. And if you have a prop in front of you, you can scoot it just off to the side. And again, we'll find a little bit of movement here. Not for as long of a hold, but walk your right hand out from your right hip. And slowly starting to bring your right elbow to the floor. Inhale your left arm up and over. Make a nice long stretch across your left side rib cage. And let your left shoulder stay lifted, so your chest is open, your throat is open. You can still breathe fully. And once more, inhale here. Stretch up and out through your left fingertips as you root your left hip down toward the ground. Exhale, slowly gaze toward the floor. Bring your left fingertips to touch down. And prop up onto your right fingertips. Walk yourself up to a tall seat, but stay turned toward your right side, coming into a seated twist. Your right hand at your low back, like a second spine. And take an inhale breath here to sit up nice and tall. And using your left hand at the outside of your right leg, gently twist toward your right side. And twist from low belly through mid back, through shoulders and chest. Maybe gaze toward your back shoulder, letting your twist extend all the way through the top of your spine. Unwind your next breath or two. Bring your left hand toward the outside of your left hip. And same thing, just like we did on the first side. Walk your left hand straight out from your left hip so your shoulders are still facing forward. And slowly bend into your left elbow as you reach your right arm up and overhead. Let your right wrist and fingers be soft. Energetically rooting down through your right hip as you reach up and out through your fingertips. Long breath. Notice if there's a natural tendency for your breath to fill more into the right side of your lungs. And see if you can intentionally breathe a breath into both sides. And feeling the contrast of compression in your left side and the openness in your right side. Exhale, slowly gaze toward the floor, bring your right fingertips down. And still facing toward the outside of your left hip, walk your hands back nice and slow, shoulders over hips. Left hand to low back to support your spine. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale to twist. Use your right hand at the outside of your left leg to help support your twist. And if you're kind of in a place in your twist where you feel like this is about as deep as I can go, check in. See if your breath can help here. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. And then long, slow exhale. The exhale phase of breath is the yin part. It's the letting go. And perhaps it allows you to twist even just 1% more. Softening, letting loose, letting go. Unwind back towards center. And we'll take our last poses reclined. Use your hands to help bend your knees and bring your legs back towards center one at a time. Been hanging out in that shape for a while. You might find a natural response to hug your knees into your chest. Maybe resting your chin or your forehead to your knees. Give yourself a little hug. All of the past versions of you are doing the best that they could with what they had at the time. Now you know more. You may choose differently. You still hold compassion and love for past you. And forgive any grudges you may be holding on to. As you forgive those past versions of yourself, you bring those shadows into the light so that those parts of you can be integrated into your wholeness, so that you can step into the next evolution, whole, integrated. And slowly come all the way down to your back. I like to have, for the reclined twists we're taking today, I like to have a thicker cushion as well as a blanket that you can use just for some weight on the outside of your legs. And these are optional. You can take all of these poses without the props. I find that they help your bones to be supported so that your muscles can relax even deeper. In a mini Shavasana, lying on your back, and scan through the body, notice what you notice. Are there sensations of movement? Maybe you feel your heartbeat, or the places of movement, of breath. When it's said that blood follows chi. Chi is our animating life force. So if you are tracking internal movement of circulation, you're also coming in contact with your own energetic body. your own animating life force. And bend your right knee, bringing your right foot to the ground, then your left knee. Tuck your tailbone under so your low back is supported on the floor. Reach your left leg up toward the ceiling as you inhale. Exhale, cross your left ankle over your right knee as a figure 4. And this is option 1. You can stay here. You might slide your left knee on top of your right so your legs come to cross. And draw your knees in toward your chest. And finally, let both legs come over toward your right side. And this is where your props can come in handy. I like to bring a thicker cushion underneath my shins and a blanket just resting over top for a little bit of grounding weight. Reach your arms open wide like a T. Gaze toward your left fingertips as long as that feels safe in your neck. We'll be here just a couple of minutes. If the particular phase of evolution that you're moving through this month or this cycle is bringing up an invitation for you to forgive someone else, know that this practice is just for you. You don't even need to notify anyone else. And this forgiveness is for you to move through your own process, and to open up ever deeper and more expansive opportunities for you to grow, for you to alchemize your shadows and integrate them into your greatest power. When we are holding on to the past, we're keeping a part of ourselves in the past. And forgiveness can help us to let go of those strings that keep us tied to the past, so that we can come even more into the present. We can integrate more of our minds, hearts, and energy body into the present, the same place and time as the physical body. And we release that extra baggage. Even if it was comfortable, or just the comfort of what we know. And we clear space for the beautiful potential of emptiness. And that's where we're headed next in the lunar cycle, the dark moon or the new moon. It's our time to be in that energetic potential. As we clear space from our internal landscape, we can dream bigger, more expansive dreams. We can vision bigger. We have a greater sense of spaciousness within which to create. Relax your jaw. Relax your eyes. Relax your glutes. And let your thighs soften. See if you can relax even your palms and the soles of your feet. Remove your blanket off of the top of your legs. Engage your core just enough to help support your low back as you unwind one leg and then the other. And come into a mini Shavasana. You've just done something that probably feels really different for your right side than it does for your left side. You can notice any differences without needing one to be better or worse or more right, just different. Notice how the sensations are different. Maybe one feels more tingly, or one feels heavier, or one feels longer. And these practices help us to tune up our internal perception, our ability to feel the sensations of the body, so that we can strengthen the communication between mind and body. Remove any props that you used over to the left side of your space. And one at a time, bend your knees. Tuck your tailbone under. Give yourself a moment just to land in that new layer. Relax your hips. Reach your right leg up toward the ceiling. And cross your ankle over your left thigh. And again, let yourself land in this layer. Each layer has its own new set of input, sensory input and stimulation, sensations, proprioception. Once you've taken all that in, if you'd like, you can cross right thigh all the way over your left. And bring your knees in toward your chest. And twist both knees to your left side. And rearranging your props to meet your body right where it is. And stack a blanket over the top of your knees if you'd like for a little bit more grounding. Arms out wide. And gaze this time toward your right fingertips. And following one of your intentional breaths to settle in. You might notice that today you're just coming in contact with your relationship to forgiveness. And that in itself is a big topic. Maybe not one that you've spent much time with. So maybe that's where you are this week. It's just getting really curious. What is your relationship to forgiveness for self, for others? For situations? Notice what you notice. If there's a lot of resistance around even the idea of forgiveness, that is your work at this time. Without making it wrong, can you get curious with yourself? There's probably a good reason. Some part of you that has been protecting you, that feels that resistance to forgive. You can ask yourself, how has this resistance to forgiveness been serving me? Maybe it's been protecting me. You can get really curious with yourself. Why do I feel this fear or resistance around forgiveness? And you be really tender with yourself as you explore these questions. And perhaps your intention in this phase of letting go is not to just let go completely of this resistance to forgiveness. That might feel like a lot all at once. So can you instead ask yourself, may I just let loose? May I loosen my grip on this resistance? May I let it soften? Not pushing it away or trying to get rid of it. Maybe just letting it sit next to you instead of wrapping its grip around you. These practices can unfold over several lunations. The beauty of working with the moon is that we'll come back to another phase of letting go next month, and the month after that, and the month after that. We have a new opportunity to set intentions, a new opportunity to lean into manifestation, into expansion, and our creative powers. We have a new opportunity to be illuminated, to feel into our fullness. And new opportunities to move through these phases of forgiveness. It does not need to happen all at once. It just takes as long as it takes. One more breath here. Lift your chin back toward the ceiling. Remove your props. Unwind. If there's any other movement that you'd like to take, maybe wrapping your knees into your chest or happy baby. Maybe a little rock side to side or some big circles to massage your low back. And this time coming into final Shavasana. You might use a prop at the back of your knees like a bolster. Be really nice for your low back. You might bring a blanket over your hips and chest for some grounding weight or warmth. Maybe you want to get real cozy. If you are on holiday this day after Thanksgiving, maybe you just want to lay a blanket all the way across you, build up your yin nest, and remain in your Shavasana for a long while. If you wear glasses, I invite you to take them off. Let the space across your forehead and eyes be light and soft. Let your eyes close down as you tune into the intimate space behind your eyes that only you know. Wrapping yourself into your own inner landscape, letting everything that you've set into motion in this process of forgiveness that you have initiated, or maybe moved along to its next evolution. All of the sensory input, the energetic mobility, everything that's happening beneath the surface. And this is the time for your body, for your whole system to reorganize on a deep cellular level. Nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do, no one else you need to be right now. It's you exactly as you are in the here and now. To fully receive your practice, to soak it in, and to give yourself this gift of radical presence, to be fully in the here and now. Just be. Shavasana. And gently bring your awareness back to your breath. Sip in a long, slow inhale, reawakening, reinvigorating your body. And an easy breath out. Let yourself rest a little deeper into the support of your mat on the ground far below. Very gently roll your chin from left to right. Trace your thumbs across your fingertips. Let your gaze rest back towards center. And bring one Or both hands to stack over heart center. Honoring yourself in whatever phase you are in. Honoring all of the past versions of you, all of your future selves that you are yet to meet. Honoring your own evolution. And trusting in the process and the beauty of unfolding. And the wisdom in all of your phases. Sending gratitude to all wise Grandmother Moon, who brings us into the realm of feeling, of our own inner wisdom, who guides us through all of our phases. And gratitude to this practice of yoga that brings us together to share time and space, to the ancient roots of this practice, and to the lineage of my teachers and their teachers. And acknowledging the land of the Duwamish tribe that I occupy. And with gratitude to each and every one of you for joining me on this lunar journey. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be peaceful and free, and may our thoughts, words, and actions in some way contribute to the happiness and freedom of all beings. A reminder of that which we cultivate here on our mats, in our practice, and in our hearts, fills us up so that we may share it out to the world. Deep gratitude, I bow. Thank you, yogis. Thank you again, friends. My name is Chelsea from Lunar Rasa. So happy to be here to share these practices with you. If you're enjoying Lunar Yoga, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you feel called to donate, there's an option for that as well. Thank you for being here and supporting my work. Thank you for being here and supporting you. If you'd like to learn more about the Lunar Yoga membership, where you can find these full practices every week and a beautiful community of other lunar yogis, please let me know. You can give me a follow on Instagram at Luna_Rasa or connect here. And talk to you all again soon. Have a great rest of your week. Cheers.